Today I stand before you with a message that is not just meant to inspire your heart, but to shake the very foundation of your doubt. I want to speak to the soul that has been weary, the heart that has been broken, the spirit that has been crushed under the weight of life. I want to speak to the person who has cried themselves to sleep, who has questioned their purpose, who has felt forgotten, ignored, or overlooked. I came here to tell you something that is not a possibility. It is a promise. God is about to make you the example of a miracle. I know some of you are wondering how I can say that with such confidence. I know it might feel like life has hit you with everything it had. I know it might feel like you've been on the bottom for far too long. I know it might seem like the doors have closed, the opportunities have dried up, the relationships have failed, and your health, your mind, your peace, your joy has been under attack. But even in the darkest night, the stars still shine. And sometimes the greatest miracles are born out of the deepest pain. You see, when God wants to perform a miracle, he doesn't always choose the strong, the wealthy, or the powerful. No, sometimes he picks the broken, the forgotten, the rejected, and the least likely just to prove that his glory cannot be denied. Sometimes he lets us hit rock bottom so we can find out. He is the rock at the bottom. Sometimes he lets the odds stack up so high, not so we can be crushed by them, but so that when he moves, there will be no other explanation but him. You've been waiting, you've been praying, you've been sowing seeds that haven't sprouted yet, and you've watched others rise while you remained in the shadows. You've celebrated others while you quietly wondered if your time would ever come. You've stayed faithful, even when everything in you wanted to quit. That faith, that perseverance, that fight in you, it wasn't wasted. God saw it all. He counted every tear. He heard every whisper of prayer that never made it past your lips, and he is about to respond. You don't have to look like a miracle to be one. You don't have to feel strong to be chosen. In fact, the ones God chooses often feel the least qualified, the least ready, the least deserving. But that's the beauty of grace. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. He's not looking for perfection. He's looking for surrender. And if you're at a place right now where you don't have anything left to offer but your brokenness, you're in the perfect position for a breakthrough. When God gets ready to use someone, he does not always start by elevating them. He starts by refining them. And refinement is not easy. It feels like pressure. It feels like loss. It feels like isolation. But it's not punishment. It's preparation. You've been in the fire, not to be destroyed, but to be purified. You've been stretched not to be broken, but to grow. God has been preparing you in private so he can bless you in public. And when he lifts you up, it won't just be for you. It will be so others can see what he can do. Your story is about to change. The chapter you're in is not the conclusion. It's not even the climax. It's the setup. The delay is not denial. It's divine timing. And I believe with every fiber of my being that the reason you're still standing today, even after everything that tried to take you out, is because God has kept you for such a time as this. Not just to survive, not just to make it, but to shine, to testify, to be the proof that God is still in the miracle-working business. You're about to walk into a season where people will look at you and say, "How did they do it?" And your only answer will be, God. You're about to receive blessings that don't match your resume. Doors are going to open that you didn't knock on. Favor is going to chase you down. Healing is going to touch your body, your mind, your family. Restoration is going to sweep through your life like a river after a drought. And people who once counted you out will have no choice but to watch what God does in you, through you, and for you. Don't you dare give up now. Don't throw away your confidence. Don't let go of your faith. The enemy has been trying so hard to discourage you because he knows what's coming. He's tried to distract you, deceive you, depress you, delay you, because he knows you're on the verge of becoming a testimony that will shake the atmosphere. He tried to silence you because he knows your story will set others free. But he doesn't get the final say. God does. And when God speaks, mountains move, chains break, dead things come to life, and miracles happen. There's something about a miracle that changes everything. A miracle doesn't require explanation. It doesn't follow logic. It defies statistics. It breaks patterns. It rewrites rules. And when you become the example of a miracle, it won't just be your life that changes, it'll be everyone connected to you. They're going to hope again because of what God does in your life. You're going to inspire others, not because you were perfect, but because you were persistent, not because you never fell, but because you kept getting back up. You are the example that someone else needs. You are the proof that God can redeem, restore, rebuild, and resurrect. The miracle isn't just the blessing, it's your endurance, your heart, your transformation. The fact that you're still kind, still loving, still open, still dreaming, even after all you've faced, that is a miracle. And the harvest you're about to step into is going to reflect everything you've been through, but multiplied with glory. When people look at you, they're going to see God's fingerprints all over your life. They're going to say, I remember when they were down, when they were counted out, when they almost gave up. But look at them now. You are about to be the before and after story that encourages someone to keep going. You are about to be the evidence that God is still faithful, that he still answers prayers, that he still sees us, hears us, and shows up when we need him most. So I dare you to believe again. I dare you to dream again. I dare you to expect again. Don't let past disappointments blind you to future possibilities. Don't let what didn't happen last time stop you from believing this time. This time is different. This time it's not about striving. It's about surrender. This time it's not about proving yourself. It's about trusting him. God is going to do it in a way that leaves no room for doubt. He's going to write your story so beautifully, so powerfully, so unexpectedly, that people will have to ask, who is their God? Get ready. Get ready for the doors that were once closed to fly open. Get ready for divine connections, for supernatural provision, for clarity, for peace, for joy unspeakable. Get ready to wake up and feel like your soul is finally breathing again. Get ready to look in the mirror and finally see what God saw in you all along. Someone worthy, someone chosen, someone powerful. And when it happens, and it will, don't forget to give him the glory. Don't forget to point back to the moments when you almost gave up. Use your testimony to pull others out of their own dark places. Let your miracle be a message. Let your breakthrough be a bridge for someone else. Let your life preach louder than any sermon ever could. Because the truth is, God doesn't just want to bless you for you. He wants to make you a billboard of his power. He wants people to look at you and see what he can do. So when you walk into your miracle, don't walk with arrogance. Walk with gratitude. Walk with purpose. Walk knowing that you've been called not just to be blessed, but to be a blessing. You've been through too much for it not to mean something. You've cried too many tears for them to go to waste. You've suffered in silence, but God is about to reward you in public. You've been hidden for a season, but only so that you can be revealed at the right time. And that time is coming. It's closer than you think. So hold your head up. Straighten your shoulders. Wipe those tears from your eyes. Take a deep breath and get ready. Because the miracle isn't coming, it's already in motion. It's already unfolding behind the scenes. And when it arrives, it will be undeniable. God is about to make you the example, not of perfection, not of performance, but of grace, of healing, of hope, of restoration, of miracles. Get ready, because your story is about to become someone else's reason to believe again. God uses the least likely to showcase his glory. This is a truth that echoes throughout the scriptures and continues to manifest in our lives today. When we think of greatness, we often imagine people who appear strong, confident, polished, and prepared. We look for qualifications, for titles, for experience. But God's way is not our way. He does not choose based on the outward appearance. He looks at the heart. And very often, he chooses those who feel broken, unqualified, or forgotten, not in spite of their condition, but because of it. Why? Because when he moves through the unlikely, there is no confusion about who deserves the glory. When God raises up the person no one expected, it becomes clear that it was him, and not human strength or status. Think of David, a young shepherd boy, overlooked by his own father when Samuel came to anoint a king. He wasn't in the room because no one thought he could possibly be the one. But God saw something in David that others didn't. And when David stood before Goliath, It wasn't his military training or armor that made him victorious. It was the anointing. That same principle applies to you. You may feel invisible to the world, but you are seen by God. You may feel unworthy, but God calls you chosen. You may feel like you have nothing to offer, but God says that in your weakness, His strength is made perfect. It's easy to believe that we have to have it all together before God can use us, that we need to be healed, whole, successful, or educated before He will elevate us. But the truth is, God does not wait for perfection. He moves in surrender. He is not looking for those who have everything figured out. He is looking for hearts that are willing to trust Him, willing to obey Him, willing to walk forward even when they don't feel ready. Because when we give Him what we have, even if it's just 5 loaves and 2 fish, He multiplies it. He breathes on it, and it becomes more than enough. Your current struggle, no matter how painful or confusing, is not a disqualification. In fact, it may be the very thing that prepares you for the miracle God is about to do. Struggle teaches dependence. It humbles us. It sharpens our faith. It removes pride and self-reliance. It makes us desperate for God. And it is in that desperation, in that hunger, that God often shows up in the most powerful ways. Your lowest moment may become the launch pad for your greatest calling. Your weakest season may give birth to your most impactful testimony. Look at Moses, a man with a stutter, running from his past full of excuses, yet God called him to lead a nation. Or Rahab, a woman with a questionable reputation, used to protect God's people and listed in the genealogy of Jesus. Or Gideon, hiding in fear, calling himself the least in his family. God called him a mighty warrior. Time and again, God makes it clear. He does not choose the obvious. He chooses the obedient. He does not require status. He requires surrender. If you've ever felt like you don't belong, like you're not enough, like you're too broken, too late, or too small to matter, know this. You are exactly the kind of person God loves to use. You're not disqualified. You're positioned. The pain, the rejection, the failure, it's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of something God-sized. Because when He brings you through it, when He lifts you up, when He blesses you in front of those who once doubted you, no one will be able to take the credit. And that's how He gets the glory. Don't run from your brokenness. Don't hide your flaws. Don't disqualify yourself from the miracle God wants to perform in and through your life. Let Him use every piece of your story, the beautiful and the painful, because in the hands of God, even the least likely becomes the most impactful. And through you, He will show the world that His power is real. His love is relentless, and His glory can shine brightest through the most unlikely vessels. Delay is not denial, it's preparation. It can be hard to accept that when you're in the middle of waiting, especially when it feels like nothing is changing. You've prayed, you've fasted, you've cried, and yet the doors remain closed. The silence can feel deafening. The stillness can feel like a punishment. But God is not ignoring you, and He has not forgotten about you. He is preparing something far greater than you could ever imagine, and what feels like a delay is actually divine timing at work. So many times, we associate waiting with being forgotten. We equate delay with rejection. But in God's economy, delay is often His way of working behind the scenes to shape us into the kind of person who can carry the weight of the blessing. He's preparing. You may feel like you're ready now, but God sees what you cannot see. He sees the full picture. He knows the timing that will not just bring you a blessing, but will also preserve your peace, protect your purpose, and ensure the impact is eternal. When you plant a seed in the ground, there is a period where it seems like nothing is happening. You water it, you care for the soil, but nothing breaks the surface right away. Does that mean the seed is dead? No. It means the roots are growing. The foundation is being formed. In the same way, your current season may look barren, but something is growing beneath the surface. Something real, something necessary, something strong enough to support the weight of what's coming. God uses the waiting to develop our character. It's in the waiting that pride is stripped away. It's in the silence that we learn to truly listen. It's in the stillness that our faith is deepened. Anyone can believe when things are going well, when doors are opening and prayers are answered instantly. But it takes real faith to trust God when nothing is moving, when nothing is visible, when the wait feels endless. That kind of faith isn't just powerful, it's precious, and God honors that. Sometimes the blessing is ready, but we are not. Or sometimes we are ready, but the situation that needs to receive us is still being formed. God might be preparing the people, the systems, the resources, or the environment that will sustain you when you arrive. He doesn't just want you to get to your blessing. He wants you to thrive in it. And if that takes time, then so be it. God is never late. The greatest growth happens in hidden seasons. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. It seemed like everything was falling apart, but the entire time, God was setting him up. Every delay was preparing him for leadership. Every injustice was shaping his humility. Every quiet season was building his trust in God. And when the moment finally came, Joseph didn't just step into a blessing. He stepped into a position to save nations. God is doing the same for you. The silence is not absence, it's strategy. The slow progress is not failure, it's formation. What feels like being stuck is actually a sacred pause where God is molding you, protecting you, and aligning everything for the appointed time. Because when it happens, it won't just be a small breakthrough. It will be something so undeniable that everyone around you will see that it was the hand of God. You don't have to understand the timing to trust the process. You don't need to see the full picture to believe that God is still writing your story. The waiting will make sense when the blessing arrives. The pain will be worth it when the joy overflows. The silence will be explained by the shout of victory that follows. And you'll look back on this season not with bitterness, but with gratitude, because it made you stronger, wiser, and more dependent on God. So hold on. Keep believing. Keep showing up in prayer. Keep doing what you can with what you have. Keep trusting, even when it feels like nothing is moving, because something is happening, just not in the way you expect. God is preparing you in private for a blessing that will be revealed in public. And when it finally comes, it won't just change your life. It will be a testimony that God's timing is always perfect, and that delay was never denial. It was destiny in disguise. Your faithfulness in the dark will be rewarded in the light. That quiet, unseen persistence, the kind that nobody claps for, the kind that happens when no one is watching, that kind of faith matters deeply to God. Every time you chose to get up and try again, every time you stayed when it would have been easier to walk away, every time you prayed through the tears and believed when your heart was breaking, it mattered. Even when it felt like your prayers were bouncing off the ceiling, even when you wondered if God was listening at all, He was. He saw every moment, and He has not forgotten you. It's in the dark places that the most important parts of your character are formed. When you're in a place where the answers don't come quickly, where the comfort is minimal, and where the results aren't visible, that's where true faith is tested and proven. It takes strength to keep going when there's no applause, no encouragement, and no visible sign that your effort is making a difference. But what you don't see is that in those very moments, heaven is leaning in. God is paying attention. You are never invisible to Him. Your pain has not been ignored. Your sacrifice has not been wasted. Sometimes God allows us to walk through darkness, not because He is punishing us, but because He is preparing us. And in that preparation, He is watching how we respond. He sees whether we remain faithful when it's hard, when it's quiet, when it's lonely. That kind of faith, quiet, steady, enduring faith, is powerful. It builds something eternal in you. It develops roots that can't be shaken by storms. It creates a foundation that cannot be moved. You may feel overlooked by people, but you are handpicked by God. You may not have received the recognition, the reward, or the breakthrough just yet, but none of it is forgotten. In fact, the very things you thought were being ignored are being stored up in heaven. Your tears are not falling to the ground. They are being collected. Your prayers aren't disappearing into the air. They are being heard, weighed, and answered according to perfect timing. The light is coming, and when it does, what God has seen in secret will be rewarded openly. What you did behind closed doors, the forgiveness you gave, the discipline you maintained, the integrity you lived with, the battles you fought in silence, will all be honored. You will step into a season where what was formed in the dark will be revealed in the light. And the beauty of it is that your story will become a beacon of hope for others. They'll look at you and see the strength they didn't know they had inside themselves. They'll hear your testimony and remember that God does not forget his people. Your reward won't just be a blessing. It will be a platform to encourage, uplift, and lead others to the same faith that carried you. You'll be the proof that staying faithful in the dark pays off in ways you never could have imagined. Don't let the silence convince you to stop praying. Don't let the waiting convince you to stop hoping. Don't let the loneliness convince you that you're alone. You're not. God has been closer than your breath this entire time. He's been holding you, teaching you, strengthening you. He's been preparing something that can only be birthed through endurance. And when the time comes, you'll see why it had to be this way. You'll understand that the struggle wasn't a sign of abandonment. It was a setup for breakthrough. There's a day coming when what you carried in secret will blossom in public. The tears you cried in private will be answered with joy that others will witness. What felt like invisible obedience will turn into undeniable favor, and you'll look back on the nights you thought would break you and realize they made you. Your story is not over. In fact, the best part is just ahead. Your faithfulness has not been in vain. God is not unjust. He will not forget the love you've shown him through your sacrifice, your worship, and your perseverance. The breakthrough is closer than you think, and when it arrives, it will come with more glory, more peace, more restoration than you ever imagined. So hold on. Stay faithful. Keep believing, because the God who saw you in the dark is about to reward you in the light, and your endurance will have been worth every second. You are becoming the example others need. It may not feel like it right now. In fact, you may be going through one of the hardest seasons of your life. You may be battling thoughts of inadequacy, insecurity, or failure. You may be questioning your worth, your purpose, or whether anything good can come from your situation. But through all of that, something powerful is happening. God is shaping you. He's writing a story in your life that will not only glorify him, but will also inspire others to believe again, hope again, and trust again. Sometimes we don't realize what we're becoming while we're still in the process. We look around and see only the mess, the broken pieces, the unanswered prayers. But God sees the bigger picture. He sees the person you are becoming, the version of you that is wiser, stronger, more compassionate, and more dependent on him. Your journey is not just for you. What God is doing in your life will serve as proof to someone else that transformation is possible, that faith does work, and that God still moves. There is someone watching you right now, even if you don't know it. Someone is paying attention to how you handle adversity, how you carry yourself under pressure, how you keep believing when there seems to be no reason to. Your perseverance is quietly planting seeds in hearts that are ready to give up. Your faith is becoming a lighthouse for people drifting in their own storms, not because you're perfect, but because you keep showing up. You keep trusting. You keep worshiping even with a heavy heart. That speaks louder than words. When God's hand touches your life, it changes everything. It doesn't mean you won't face battles, but it means you'll never face them alone. And when he brings you through, when you stand on the other side of the storm, your story will have power. It will carry weight. It will be more than just survival. It will be a testimony. Others will hear what you've been through and find the strength to keep going. They will see what you've overcome and realize that their situation is not hopeless either. That's how God works. He takes our pain and uses it to unlock someone else's healing. He takes our past and uses it as a bridge for someone else's future. You're not going through all of this for nothing. Every lesson you're learning, every tear you've cried, every time you chose faith over fear, it's building a story that will reach further than you can imagine. And that story is going to matter to someone who needs it. Think about the people who have impacted you most. Chances are they weren't perfect. They were people who had been through something. People who were honest about their journey, about their doubts, their fears, and their faith. Their testimony gave you hope. That's what you're becoming. You're becoming someone else's inspiration, someone else's encouragement, someone else's reminder that God is still faithful. Transformation isn't always dramatic or instant. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's a slow, steady process. But it's happening. And the more you lean into God, the more you allow Him to shape you, the more your life becomes a living example of His grace. There are people who don't read the Bible, but they're reading your life, and what they see in you may be the very thing that draws them closer to God. Your story isn't over. In fact, the most meaningful parts are still unfolding. You may not feel strong, but strength is being built inside you. You may not see the fruit yet, but roots are growing deep. And soon there will be evidence of healing, restoration, purpose, and power. You'll become the example that proves that no one is too far gone, that no situation is beyond redemption, and that God truly does work all things together for good. So keep walking, keep trusting, keep growing, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, because you are becoming the person someone else is praying to meet. You are becoming the voice someone else will need to hear. You are becoming the light in someone else's darkness. And through it all, you are becoming the example that shows the world what God can do through an ordinary life surrendered to Him. The miracle will be undeniable and God-glorifying. What God is preparing to do in your life will not be subtle, small, or ordinary. It will not be something that people can explain away with coincidence or logic. It will not be something that can be attributed to chance, human effort, or good luck. No, the miracle that is coming will be so powerful, so unmistakable, that everyone around you will know that it was God and only God who made it happen. The very nature of it will point back to Him. It will bring glory to His name, not just through your celebration, but through the awe and amazement of those who witness it. Sometimes God waits until every natural possibility is exhausted before He moves. He allows circumstances to reach a point where only a divine intervention can bring a turnaround. And while that can be uncomfortable for us, it is exactly the setting where miracles thrive. When the odds are stacked against you, when there seems to be no way out, when you've tried everything and come up short, that is when God steps in and rewrites the story in a way no one saw coming. God delights in doing what man calls impossible. He specializes in making a way where there is no way. And when He does it, He makes sure it's undeniable. Not just for your sake, but for the sake of everyone watching. People will look at your life and say, that had to be God. They'll see the transformation, the breakthrough, the provision, the restoration, and they won't be able to explain it by natural means. It won't make sense on paper. It won't match the timeline others expected, but it will carry the fingerprints of heaven. This miracle will not only bless you, it will shift things for generations to come. It will restore faith in those who have lost it. It will awaken hope in those who have grown weary. It will turn skeptics into believers and doubters into worshipers. That's the kind of miracle God is preparing, one that not only meets your needs, but also serves a divine purpose, one that not only lifts you up, but also lifts the name of Jesus in the eyes of those around you. What's coming will break cycles. It will heal wounds that you thought would never close. It will bring clarity where confusion once lived, and it will come with such precision and perfection that you'll have no choice but to lift your hands and give God all the glory. It won't be because of your effort, your connections, or your qualifications. It will be the result of God's unmerited favor, His divine orchestration, and His deep love for you. When God does something undeniable, it changes the atmosphere. It silences the critics. It confounds the wise, and it ignites revival in the hearts of those who witness it. Your miracle will not be a quiet event. It will speak volumes. It will testify. It will shout of God's goodness without a word. You won't have to convince anyone. Your life will be the proof. But until that moment arrives, stay in position. Stay in faith. Keep trusting, even when it doesn't look like anything is happening. Because often, the greatest miracles are formed in silence and birthed in stillness. They take time. They require patience, but they are worth the wait. And when the appointed time comes, it will happen suddenly. It will happen in a way that leaves no doubt. One moment of God's favor can change everything you've been praying for. You may be in a situation right now that feels like a dead end, but God is about to breathe life into it. You may be facing battles that seem unending, but God is about to deliver a victory that no one expected. And when it happens, the only explanation will be Him. That's what makes a miracle, not just the outcome, but the undeniable evidence that it was divine. So prepare your heart, not in fear, but in expectation. Get ready to testify. Get ready to tell your story with boldness. Because the miracle that's coming is not just about your breakthrough. It's about revealing the heart and power of God to a watching world. And when it happens, make no mistake, it will be undeniable, and it will be for His glory alone. Your blessing is meant to bless others. What God is getting ready to do in your life will not be limited to your personal satisfaction or comfort. It will be bigger than your goals, your desires, and even your prayers. Yes, it will bring joy to you. Yes, it will fulfill something deep in your heart. But at its core, the blessing God is preparing has purpose beyond you. It is meant to flow through you and touch others. It is meant to be a testimony, a message, and a ministry. What God does in your life will become the very thing someone else needs to keep going, to believe again, and to trust God with their own story. Many times we ask God for blessings thinking only of how they will improve our lives. We want breakthroughs to relieve pressure, healing to end suffering, provision to meet needs. And God, being the loving Father that He is, absolutely cares about those desires. But His plan always goes further. He blesses with impact in mind. He heals so that we can bring healing. He provides so that we can become providers. He restores us so that we can walk others through restoration. Nothing He does in your life is meant to stop with you. It's meant to start with you. When your miracle arrives, it will carry a message for others. It will be a demonstration of God's power, grace, and timing. People who watched you suffer in silence will also see you rise in victory. And when they ask how it happened, your answer will not just be hard work or good luck. It will be God did it. That kind of answer points others to Him. That kind of testimony gives people hope that if God did it for you, He can do it for them. There is someone right now who is walking a similar path to yours. They feel the same fear, face the same pressure, carry the same questions. They're on the edge of giving up, and they don't know what to believe anymore. Your story, your survival, your comeback, your breakthrough may be the very thing that rescues them. That's why God is writing this with so much detail. That's why He's letting you go through some things you don't understand right now, because He's shaping a testimony that will have power. Not just words, but real-life evidence that faith works, that God is real, and that miracles still happen. Blessings are not just about abundance, they're about assignment. When God blesses you, He's also trusting you. Trusting that you will steward the blessing well. Trusting that you will remain humble and grateful. Trusting that you will use your platform, your voice, and your resources to lift others. You're not just a recipient, you're a vessel. What flows into your life is meant to pour out of your life. That doesn't mean you have to stand on a stage or preach a sermon. Sometimes the most powerful ministry happens in quiet conversations, acts of kindness, or simple encouragement. Sometimes it's just being present for someone, sharing your journey honestly, or reminding them that they're not alone. The way you carry your blessing, the way you speak about it, the way you live in response to it, these things speak volumes. And the truth is, the blessing will have more meaning when you see how it helps others. Joy multiplies when it's shared. Healing deepens when it brings hope to someone else. Purpose grows when it lifts another soul out of despair. That's the beauty of God's design. He blesses us to be a blessing. He changes us so we can help others change. He delivers us so we can walk back and pull someone else out. So as you wait for the miracle, prepare your heart not just to receive it, but to share it. Prepare your mind to carry it with humility. Prepare your spirit to serve with it. Ask God to open your eyes to the people who need what you're about to carry, because when it comes, it will be undeniable. It will be powerful, and it will be purposeful. And you will see that the miracle wasn't just for you, it was through you, for the many lives your story will touch.